Johnny Depp has lost his libel case against the Sun newspaper over an article that called him a wife beater. Watch this video till the end to know how Amber Heard's replied to Johnny Depp's fans for calling her a gold digger.
Amber Heard drops 10 years of Johnny Depp's personal info, doxing 52.
The trial that has been going on for years that features Johnny Depp going after both his ex-wife and Amber Heard, as well as the newspaper that have published slanderous articles about him, really isn't going the way that many people would think it would go. Not by the least of which is because the case against the newspaper is being lost verdict by verdict, and now he's gotten dealt a very huge blow. Amber Heard is explaining the poignancy of re-wearing a dress in light of her ex-husband Johnny Depp's wife-beater libel case defeat. Heard posted 2 photos on Instagram in which she's seen wearing the same black dress. The first is from when she filed domestic abuse allegations against Depp in 2016, in which a bruise is visible on her face. The second shot shows Heard once again wearing the dress last summer, but this time it was on the day Depp lost his libel case against UK's The Sun, which has labeled him a wife beater in a published article. One dress, 4 years apart. Sometimes it's important to wear the same thing twice, Heard wrote. The post came days after Depp, 57, lost his appeal to overturn the ruling on the case. In a written judgment handed down by the Court of Appeal in London, Judges Lord Justice Underhill and Lord Justice Dingemans refused the actor's application for a fresh trial on the grounds that a second hearing was unlikely to produce a different outcome. The claim was based on a story in The Sun alleging that he had beaten his former wife Amber Heard. After a 3-week trial in the High Court last year, in which both Mr. Depp and Miss Heard gave evidence, Mr. Justice Nicole found that the allegation was true, the summary read. After the court's ruling was made, Heard posted a statement on Instagram saying, "We are pleased, but by no means surprised, by the court's denial of Mr. Depp's application for appeal. The evidence presented in the UK case was overwhelming and undeniable. The US actor asked the Court of Appeal to grant permission for him to challenge the High Court's ruling, with the aim of having its findings overturned and a retrial ordered. At a hearing last week, Mr. Depp's lawyers asked the court to consider fresh evidence relating to what they said was Miss Heard's claim that she gave her $7 million divorce settlement to charity. Mr. Depp's barrister, Andrew Caldecott QC, told the court that claim was a calculated and manipulative lie. After the court divorced in 2016, Miss Heard said that she would split the $7 million between the Children's Hospital Los Angeles and the American Civil Liberties Union. But Mr. Caldecott said the hospital wrote to Mr. Depp's business advisor in 2019 to say Miss Heard had not made any payments. The court heard $100,000 was donated to the hospital and $450,000 to the ACLU, but Miss Heard claimed she made a further $500,000 donation to the second charity anonymously. Miss Heard's legal team had previously said Amber has already been responsible for 7 figures in donations to charitable causes and intends to continue to contribute and eventually fulfill her pledge. But Adam Wolanski, QC, representing the Sun's publisher News Group newspapers, said the new evidence Mr. Depp wanted to rely on would not have had any impact on the result of the libel trial. The court refused permission for Mr. Depp to appeal. Speaking at the Royal Courts of Justice in London, Lord Justice Underhill said, "We refuse Mr. Depp's application to admit further evidence in support of his proposed appeal, and we conclude that the appeal has no real prospect of success and that there is no other compelling reason for it to be heard. We accordingly refuse permission to appeal." What has the reaction been? In a statement after the ruling, a spokeswoman for The Sun said, "The Sun had every confidence that this leave to appeal application would not be granted and are pleased with today's decision. The case had a full, fair, and proper hearing, and today's decision vindicates the courageous evidence that Amber Heard gave to the court about domestic abuse, despite repeated attempts to undermine and silence her by the perpetrator." The original verdict was that Mr. Depp committed domestic violence against Amber on no fewer than 12 occasions, and she was left in fear for her life. The verdict and lengthy, well-reasoned judgment, including the confidential judgment, have been affirmed. Mr. Depp's claim of new and important evidence was nothing more than a press strategy and has been soundly rejected by the court. While last week's ruling signals the end of Depp's legal case in the UK courts, the actor is still fighting a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Heard in the US, which is scheduled to begin on May 3rd in Fairfax County, Virginia. Speaking on behalf of Depp, Joelle Rich from Schilling's Partners in London stated that the Pirates of the Caribbean star was still prepared to pursue the American strand of his legal action against his ex-wife. The evidence presented at last week's hearing further demonstrates that there are clear and objective reasons to seriously question the decision reached in the UK court, wrote Rich in a statement provided to People. Mr. Depp looks forward to presenting the complete, irrefutable evidence of the truth in the US libel case against Miss Heard, where she still has to provide full disclosure. Amber Heard showed up her serious mood after ex-husband Johnny Depp lost his wife-beater appeal. The actor failed to overturn a ruling that allowed the tabloid to label him a wife-beater after Amber Heard's domestic abuse allegations against him. The charming actress explained the poignancy of re-wearing a dress after her ex-husband Johnny Depp's wife-beater libel case defeat. Taking to Instagram on Monday, Heard shared 2 photos on Instagram in which she's seen wearing the same black dress which she first wore when she filed domestic abuse allegations against Depp in 2016. The second shot shows Heard once again wearing the dress last summer, but this time it was on the day Depp lost his libel case against the UK tabloid. Amber Heard and Johnny Depp have been battling in court for quite some time now, trying to prove their own innocence and their other wrongs. But the court cases are still raging on. However, more light has been shined on the case, and we even managed to get our hands on some of their text messages. These text messages range from conversations with colleagues, assistants, and also parents. We have text messages between Amber and her mother, Depp and his assistant on substance use, Amber's messages to Depp about divorce, Depp messages to colleagues about Heard being a stripper and how she engaged in various activities. For short, this video is going to expose you to some other decays in the Amber-Depp short-lived marriage. Last year, the US actor lost his libel case against the publisher of The Sun over an article that labeled him a wife-beater. Mr. Depp asked the Court of Appeal for permission to challenge the ruling, but on Thursday, a judge refused his application and said his appeal had no real prospect of success. What was the original ruling? The Sun's article, published in April 2018, was the focus of a 3-week trial in July last year. The 57-year-old sued Newsgroup Newspapers, the publisher of The Sun, over the accusation that he was violent towards Miss Heard, but the newspaper maintained its article was accurate. The Hollywood star's libel claim was dismissed by Mr. Justice Nicole, who found The Sun's accusation to be substantially true and ruled in the publisher's favor. The judge found Mr. Depp, 57, had assaulted Miss Heard, 34, on a dozen occasions and put her in fear for her life 3 times. Days after the ruling was announced, Mr. Depp announced he had been asked by Warner Brothers to resign from his role in the Harry Potter spin-off franchise Fantastic Beasts.